Hello and welcome to the City Show. I'm your host, Dr. Tom Krieger. Today we're going to be talking with Lebanon City Manager Scott Brunka. It's a guy who's got his hands full and is doing an amazing job. He's going to give us a full report on where the city's been, where it is, and where it's going. Scott, welcome back to the City Show.
Yeah.
I'm just joking. On the way in, I saw an accident. I kind of thought you'd be out there doing CPR.
No.
You do it. You do so much, so well, and for one citizen, I'm grateful. I'm sure everybody else is too. Our town doesn't become this beautiful just by accident. There's a lot of stuff, and you got your finger on the pulse of all that stuff. As you review 2021, what did the city accomplish over the past year?
Well, I think 2021 was a busy year for sure. I think one of our greatest accomplishments was construction of a new fire station. Yeah. So, when I came into this position as city manager, in 2018, I know sitting down with the fire chief talking about, okay, we've got to get the fire station, the facility problem figured out. Yeah. Thankfully, the voters supported the fire levy that made this possible, but it's really been a 2-year process of designing and then constructing the new fire station, but certainly a big step forward for this community to get that project done. We continue to invest heavily in our road system. So last year, we spent over $5 million on various road construction projects, whether it's complete reconstruction or resurfacing. And that'll continue moving forward. If you look at our 5-year capital improvement plan, we will continue to be investing $5 million or greater in our road infrastructure. But I think 2021, we saw over $60 million in private investment take place in Lebanon. Wow. So just a lot of commercial, industrial, residential interest and development that's coming to our community.
So when you talk about that amount of money, my sphincter tightens
Yeah, it's
up.
A lot of money.
but you're also getting outside money. You're getting grants.
Correct.
So it's not all out of our pocket, but we get the benefit to see all that and enjoy all of it. Now, last year there was an election. You have some new faces on city council. Mm-hmm. Has that impacted city operations at all?
I think this council is very engaged. They really want to kind of understand, how the city's operating and get, information on all the different projects. So staff's been spending quite a bit of time just kind of getting everybody up to speed on the number of projects and the background and kind of what the plan is. But operationally, no. I mean, we've been moving forward with the projects that we had planned. Those are all kind of, still moving along. So it's just been obviously a focus of ours to make sure we're getting good communication out to our board.
In spite of the pandemic, you kept rolling around.
That's
amazing.
We had a slowdown in 2020, certainly, but it quickly rebounded here in Lebanon.
Fantastic. Now, as far as staff, the city's managed to change and grow the staff, especially in the area of police, fire, and EMS. What's driven the needs to grow in those departments primarily?
Yeah, I think, first and foremost, we have an outstanding police department, outstanding fire and EMS, and those are really, no-fail critical service areas for our community. So our community expects outstanding service when it comes to public safety, and it's certainly our commitment to deliver that. As the community grows, there's obviously going to be a need to provide some additional resources, but I think it's just as much the fact that the demand, what they're responsible for has changed and increased dramatically over the years. So we didn't used to have a school resource officer. Now we do. Wow. We could probably use 2 in the school system, honestly. Our EMS calls continue to grow every year. So it's really just the fact that there's, it's a critical, outstanding service area for us, but also the demand and what they're being asked to do continues to grow as well. So we need to make sure that we're keeping pace and continue to deliver those outstanding services.
Well, I had a chance to see the fire station, I think last month, and did a tour there, and it was just amazing. Mm-hmm. So I think all the choices that you made along with the chief, you guys did a great job. Now, of course, you've got a gleaming new firehouse. We're talking about that. How does that building help with the mission of fire and EMS?
Yeah, I mean, it's a game changer. Where the building that they were in, although it served its purpose over the years, it really was never designed or really well suited to house a 24/7 fire operation. And that's what we are. We're no longer a volunteer fire department. We're not really a part-time fire department. We are a full-time fire operation. So, literally our fire personnel were kind of staying in an attic at times.
Wow.
So the new facility allows us to really, operate professionally. It allows us to incorporate training features into the building to make sure that our staff are getting the training that they need. We did a response time study when we were looking at where the new fire station could go. And the new location really allows us to improve response times to the northern parts of our community as well. So it really sets us up for the next 50 plus years to provide that service to our community.
And they're really friendly to the public. I mean, if you're looking for something to do with your little ones, take them down to the firehouse. They'll show you around.
Right.
You'll get to meet some of the fire. I remember as a kid, firemen and policemen were revered.
Right.
I mean, they're just
right.
And they still are in our town. So go down there and check that out. Is the population of Lebanon, are we still growing?
We are. So we actually looked at this as part of our comprehensive plan update. And, historically, over the last 10 years, Lebanon's been growing about 1% a year. Okay. So it's not, it's consistent growth. It's steady growth.
We're around 25
it's not,
now?
We're about 21,000.
Oh, that's
so
it.
I would
Okay,
consider
good.
it, kind of a steady growth. I think we are seeing a little bit of a spike right now. We've got a lot of development projects going on. But yeah, Lebanon and Warren County continues to grow.
Have you seen more residential construction in 2021?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah, that's been a big part of it.
Has that been a focus in the planning, or has that just happened?
I think honestly it's just happened.
Okay.
It's not like the city has, gone out and actively been recruiting for residential development. We spend a lot of time and resources recruiting on the business side. Residential development, the interest is there. Folks want to live in Lebanon. I think what we've been focused on is making sure that it's quality residential development.
I imagine the pandemic probably had a bad effect on a lot of cities.
Right.
How did we fare coming out of that?
2020, if you look at our income tax revenue, between 2019 and 2020, it was flat. So whereas a lot of cities, their revenue was significantly down, we were stable.
Okay.
What's really encouraging is last year our income tax revenue grew by 10%.
Wow.
So it really bounced back well. We're definitely in growth mode, and that's why this development, is important. Is it helps to kind of expand that tax base.
Yeah. Wow. I think a lot of people are probably surprised that more stuff wasn't canceled over the last years. Why did the city forge ahead on the festivals and the other civic events versus holding off? Which, by the way, courageous, and I'm grateful you did it that way. But why?
Honestly, the community wanted us to.
You're listening.
I think we're listening to the community, and we heard loud and clear that our residents, our businesses value these events. It's part of who we are. It's part of our character. And they wanted to come downtown and go to the Carriage Parade, go to Third Friday. So, I
How much flack did you take stepping in there and saying, you know what, no? Because you were going against the grain.
Yeah, honestly, personally, I didn't get. We got some feedback along those lines, but like I said, I truly believe that the community was driving this. Most of our festivals and events aren't city organized. They're organized by the different nonprofit groups in the community, the Optimist Club, the Rotary Club, Main Street Lebanon Chamber. So all of those organizations were, wanting to do their events last year, and we were very happy to be able to support that.
Wow. You also did a great job of progressing with the city parks, including a new addition coming at the Miller Ecological Park in the future. Can you talk about some of the expansion plans?
Sure. So Miller Park is a fabulous city park. It's about 100 acres. It gets heavily used by a lot of different organizations. Right now it's served by one portalet out there. So we have received over $100,000 in private donations to help fund a public restroom out at Miller Park. So you can see a concept of it right there. So between private donations that we receive from the community and utilizing some federal money, we're able to move forward with building a new kind of welcome center. So it'll be a restroom and a pavilion to really serve that park well.
Yeah, good choice. Now, roads are always a bit of a topic. Can you tell me what we spent last year on road repair?
Yeah.
And where it was spent?
Yeah, so we spent another $5 million last year. We've been trending in that direction for 5 years now. Summit Street was a huge project last year. The Summit Street reconstruction, we got that completed. Right now we're in the midst of reconstructing New Street. But then we've also really expanded our roadway resurfacing program, and that street's kind of scattered throughout town. So if you go to the city's website, you can actually pull up our 5-year capital improvement plan, which shows all the roads we're doing this year and really all the roads we have planned to do the next 5 years.
Nice. I understand there's a recent survey show that the public's also recognizing these improvements. Can you tell me more about that? And obviously, that's something that you're watching.
Right. So we had kind of a third-party company come in, and they evaluated all of the city's roads, and they scored them based on the condition of the pavement. And we had last done this, I believe it was 2014, so it'd been a little while before we did it again last year. Good news is the number of poor condition roads is down. The number of roads that are in good condition are up. So, we're making progress on kind of the road condition challenge here in the city. But it is going to take some time. It's time and money. You have to make those investments. And so, like I said, we've been spending over $1 million more each year over the last 5 years than we had previously to try to get caught up with our road system.
Yeah. Well, I would think a lot that drives that financially is the industrial park.
Correct.
What happened in the industrial park in 2021?
Yeah, we had some great expansions down there. So GMI, Inks, E-Beam, they all expanded their facilities. We've got a new kind of company that's under construction right now called Rise Commercial.
Okay.
So they're building some kind of spec industrial manufacturing type facilities. So that's an area that we do actively recruit to get companies and get businesses in there, and it's doing well.
Well, how much more room do you have back there right now, and where are you at relative to capacity?
Yeah, we've still got, the good news for Lebanon is we've still got quite a bit of undeveloped land in our industrial parks, and we're just in the process of annexing about 80 more acres down there. So there's room for Lebanon to grow from a business standpoint, and that's very important because most of our core services, our police department, our parks, that's funded through the income tax, through those jobs that are created down there. So it's an area that we focus on, and I think this community's poised to really grow for the next 10 years down there.
That could be a separate job, just doing the recruiting for that. Do you have somebody on your staff who helps with that, or is this all in your lap?
No. We have Jason Millard's an outstanding community development director, and that's a large part of his job is business retention and business recruitment.
Nice. Well, that's exciting. It's been a great year. We're going to give you some time to rest.
Okay.
We'll be back, give Scott a breather, and we'll return to talk about what's happening right now in our great town after this break.
Break your fast food habit at Kelly's Meats and Deli at 1001 West Main Street in Lebanon. Stop in for a quick lunch featuring made-to-order sandwiches, tasty sides, and mouth-watering daily specials. For dinner, Kelly's offers fresh-cut steaks, chops, and seafood, plus a variety of prepared dishes that only need to be reheated. You'll also find a large selection of high-quality wine and beer that can make any meal a special event. Kelly's Meats and Deli, open 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. Tuesday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Saturday, now open for dinner Saturdays 6 to 9 p.m. And remember, we cater too.
Since 1954, Hardee's Interiors has been providing quality furnishings for homes in and around Lebanon, Ohio. Today, you'll still find quality antique and vintage furniture along with new made-in-America furniture of all styles. At Hardee's, you can create a mix of furniture and accessories that truly reflects your personality, all made to last a lifetime. Designers are welcome, and so are you. Hardee's Interiors at 208 and a half Wright Avenue or online at hardeesinteriors.com.
When it comes to healthcare, the most common question I get is, are you on our insurance? Well, we're probably not because we don't accept insurance, but our prices are extremely fair and you're going to get great care. So if your plan is to get great care, we are your plan. We offer chiropractic, fitness programs, massage, and clinical nutrition. So if you're sick and tired of being sick and tired, call our office, schedule for a free consultation so we can discuss any question you have and get you well.
Call now to schedule your free initial consultation.
Hey, welcome back. Today I'm sitting down with City Manager Scott Brunka, and we're talking about our city and its future. Scott, the spring construction season's off to a rip-roaring start, including the 511 North Broadway project. Is it true they got people living in there already?
They absolutely do. They've got, I think there's a total of about 115 units,
Okay.
some townhomes, some apartments. And last I talked to the developer, half of those are now rented out.
Okay. Now those were all rental, nothing for
Correct.
sale.
Yeah, that's
Okay.
those are all rental units.
You know, it seems like the millennials are attracted to that.
Yeah,
it's a whole new market.
Yeah, I mean, this was really the first project of its kind
Yeah.
in Lebanon in quite some time, and he was a little unsure. The developer's a little unsure. He's been very pleased with the response that he's getting from the project.
Do you know how many units they're going to have when it's all done?
Total of about 115. Yeah,
Okay,
so
okay.
they're it's a sizable project.
And what about retail spaces in front of the
Correct.
condos and other stuff? Any ideas on what's committed to being there already?
Yeah, so the building that's under construction now is going to be Catch a Fire Pizza, which
Okay.
that's a kind of a concept of what it's going to look like when
nice.
it's all done.
Yeah.
And then the leasing office is there at the end. So it's going to be, a nice space. They're going to have almost like a little banquet, for teams that want to,
Okay.
eat there together. But it's going to be, I think, a good addition to our downtown.
So did we recruit them? Did they find out? Can you
yeah.
tell us more about the folks from
So
Catch a Fire Pizza?
Absolutely. Jeff and Melissa, it's a young couple that owns the business. They got their start in Mad Tree Brewery. So Catch a
Okay.
Fire Pizza is kind of the original one, is located
Down in
within Mad
Cincinnati.
Tree Brewery
Yeah,
down in
okay.
Cincinnati, Oakley. And they've grown from there. They have a Blue Ash standalone restaurant that opened about a year ago.
Yeah.
But what's interesting is they actually do have a Lebanon connection. So they do have
Okay.
some relatives in the Lebanon area. We're familiar with it. And when they heard about this opportunity in Lebanon, they were quick to
Nice.
jump on it. So they're confirmed, and they're going to be in that first building. And then you're going to see the second building start going under construction here probably in a month or so.
Okay.
And that's going to be Mi Cozumel Mexican restaurant
Nice.
that'll be in that one.
So by the end of the summer, you think they'll be open?
I think with Catch a Fire, you're probably looking at late summer, early
Okay.
fall. The second building's going to obviously
Yeah.
be a little bit farther down the road.
And it's so cool how the city's tied the walkways and
Right.
everything together.
I think this is a good
wow.
example of a planning process coming to fruition. So the expansion of our downtown up North Broadway was a recommendation of the downtown master
Yeah.
plan that was completed in 2017, 2018. And so here we are, 4 years later,
It's gotta be
you're seeing
nice
it coming
for
up
you
out of the ground.
to see it
Right.
happening, yeah,
It
coming
is
together,
rewarding
yeah.
to kind of see what was at the time just an idea
Yeah.
actually happen.
Wow. Now there's some other new development, another new neighborhood being built on West
Yeah.
Street, just past the end of Orchard. What's going in there?
So those are Justin Doyle homes, new single-family
Okay.
homes. Nice little development, kind of tucked away there.
They look real nice.
Yeah.
know?
I think
Yeah.
the starting price on those homes is about $500,000,
Oh, my
and they kind
goodness.
of go up from there. So good quality home, and I think as we discussed, residential development. Our focus is just making sure that it's good quality. That's going to add value to the city, to the school district. It's going to happen. There's so much interest in folks who want to live in Lebanon that we get calls weekly from different developers about what opportunities there are, and we say no a lot more than we say yes to these different proposals.
That's good. I mean, there can't be that much more opportunities
Exactly.
left, at least on
Right.
the inside, maybe on the fringes.
Right.
Yeah, and there's another one, a townhome project on Columbus
Mm-hmm.
Avenue that's under construction, and some of the other neighborhoods are getting filled with new houses. That one specifically, Ross O'Rourke, who was a graduate here,
Yes.
and a Marine,
Yes.
and a great guy, and a very successful businessman.
Yes.
He went out, made a lot of money, came back, put in our town.
Right.
Way to go, Ross O'Rourke.
Right.
Welcome back. Yeah.
Yeah, he's really done a lot.
Yeah.
Took down some buildings that were a little bit on
Yeah.
the dilapidated side, and Columbus Avenue is a focus area of ours. We really want to kind of see continued investment in Columbus Avenue. So we just completed our comprehensive plan, and that was identified as one of the main focus areas for the city to encourage that type of reinvestment and redevelopment along there.
I imagine overall new construction in Lebanon, it's with the materials and everything else.
Yeah.
It's got to be going up.
It is.
Yeah.
It's affecting everybody. It's
Yeah.
affecting the private sector. It's certainly affecting the city when it comes to the projects that we're bidding out. So it's having an impact.
I mean, some of these places, you sit down and talk with somebody, you ask them what it costs, and they can't tell you.
Yeah.
It's like, we got to wait until we see what the lumber
Right.
costs.
Right.
We've never seen that before. Not that I remember.
Right.
Have you ever witnessed anything like
No,
that?
nothing like this. I mean, there's always been some fluctuation, but this is kind of uncharted territory. You know, we just recently bid out a downtown restroom project.
Okay.
We'd received a state grant for that, and the prices came in way over budget. So we had to go back and kind of rescale the project, make some adjustments, and rebid it. So that's, you know, it's affecting us for sure.
Do you get many people who come up to you and say, man, we're getting too big? Is the growth unmanageable? Are we okay? Can you tell the
Yeah,
folks
so,
out there,
yeah.
we're okay? You know, we talked about that earlier. It's like, oh, traffic in Lebanon.
Right.
You know, it's like, man, this is
Yeah.
nothing. We have it so good.
Yeah, I mean, I think, you know, yes, the growth is manageable. I think for a community, it's important that you have some expansion of your tax base, because that's what really, you know, supports the services that we rely on as residents and businesses. But there are challenges with growth. There's no question about it. Traffic is one of those, one of those challenges. But I know I would much rather be in a community that's experiencing growth than one that's experiencing decline.
Yeah, well said.
Because that can be very difficult to reverse that
Yeah.
trend if you start going down that road.
Now back to the industrial park. Premier Packaging, they're expanding.
Correct.
What do they have planned out there with their expansion?
Yeah, so we, the city owned the land. We're in the process of selling them the property. They're looking at two, couple 100,000 square foot standalone buildings out there. They're in the e-commerce business, so
Okay.
obviously they deal with a lot of, on the e-commerce side, the packaging material that goes into, you know, shipping and logistics. So.
Okay.
It's going to be, you know, another, I think, good business that we're bringing into Lebanon. They're
I
based.
imagine that's going to be more employee needs.
Yeah,
So
so
how many people are we looking at?
I think ultimately they're going to be employing over 100,
Okay.
100 people at the facility. And yeah, I think it's again, a great opportunity to kind of
Nice.
bring new businesses and expand that tax base down in our industrial park.
Speaking of expansion and in the industrial park, any other companies out there growing or expanding that you can?
Rise Commercial right now is under construction. So
Okay.
if you drive down Columbia Road, you'll see quite a bit of construction activity. So they're going to be providing some new manufacturing spec building. I was actually talking to Jason Millard this morning, asking him, are there any available vacant, manufacturing business type buildings? And right now the answer is no. Wow. Everything is filled. Wow. And that's good. You don't want a bunch of vacant buildings, but for companies that are looking to move into the area, it can be a challenge because obviously, with the construction pricing, building new right now, it's tough. But
I think part of it too, it's tough for companies to get employees. So if
Right.
you have your building in an area that isn't near and people don't want to drive there, where if you're in Lebanon, you're going to find employees.
Yeah. That's probably when we talk to the businesses. That's one of the biggest challenges is just finding employees. Our location helps, being kind of right in between that Cincinnati, Dayton metropolitan, markets. But
And
even
Cincinnati and Columbus. too.
Yeah,
It's perfect.
Columbus
yeah.
really isn't that
Yeah.
far, but even with that, it is a struggle. There's a lot of businesses hiring down in our business park.
I think that's going to bounce back too. Now, the First National Bank building on Route 63 is moving along.
Yes.
Is there any other new retail business on the horizon there?
We're working with folks, so kind of the old Peebles, the old Krogers, they're looking at carving out some outlots in that parking lot. Obviously, at this point, there's much more parking than really even what today's standards are. So kind of like how Donato's is set up as a separate outlot, we're looking at creating some new outlots to encourage some new retail investment. But retail right now is another challenging area just with the e-commerce and internet sales. You're not seeing a whole lot of new retail investment. 511 North Broadway, again, because that's so close to our downtown, I think that's going to do well. The Parkside development is proposing some smaller retail. But in terms of kind of the large footprint retail, there's nothing.
Maybe a thing of the
right
past,
now.
huh?
Yeah, I think it's changed quite a bit.
You touched on this a little bit in the interview already, but what in general do you think is bringing new business and growth here? Why are we doing so good?
I mean, I think Lebanon has an outstanding quality of life.
Yeah.
I mean, I think we have good services, but we still have a sense of character and a sense of place and a sense of community here, and I think that attracts a lot of people. Our location, you know, is also important. So we have, you know, we're kind of ideally located between two metropolitan markets along the interstate. So I think it's a combination of multiple things: services, that sense of community, sense of place that people are looking for, and just our general location.
We're in a time warp.
Yeah,
This
right.
weekend, you know, my wife took our grandson to the library.
Yes.
Who
yeah.
does that?
I know.
People in Lebanon do, because our library's so cool.
Right.
And that little museum and all the other wonderful things
Yeah.
that we have, it's
Yeah.
such a great city. Now, construction started on new trails being built at the Atrium Medical Center, the bike park, and it looks like they're going back into the woods.
Yeah.
What's going on back there?
Yeah, so the city got a grant from the state to install about 4 miles of mountain bike trails in our bike park, the Premier Health Lebanon Bike Park. If you haven't been out there on Turtle Creek Union Road, it's a great park. All kinds of different cycling activities.
You say 4 miles?
4 miles of new mountain bike trails. The city had acquired about 50 acres adjacent to the existing bike park about a year and a half ago through a grant, and then we used the same grant to actually build the trails that are under construction right now. And this park really draws people from outside of Ohio to come to it. It's unique.
Wow.
It's a great experience, all levels, little kids, all the way up to, you know,
Is that
experience.
a walking trail too, or is it
You
just
can.
bikes?
So no, you can walk on it, and there's a nice, you know, kind of gravel loop around the park as well. So yeah, if you just want to come out and walk the trails, that's fine. If you want to grab your mountain bike and get out there on it, that's certainly, you know, kind of what it's primarily designed for.
Nowadays, people are on their bicycles with motors, Scott.
Yeah, I know. Right.
Don't take your motorized bike down there.
No motorized vehicles, or bikes. But yeah, it's definitely a neat addition to our park system.
Wow, a lot of stuff going on. We're in a good place. I can't imagine, or I can't believe all the stuff you're doing. But we got more to come. I'm going to let Scott take a break, and we'll return on an eye to the future right after this break.
All across the country, people are coming together to speed up what we can learn about health. The All of Us Research Program is calling on 1 million people to join us as we try to change the future of health. For your family, for future generations, for all of us. Visit joinallofus.org and find out how you can become 1 in a million.
When you adopt a shelter pet, you discover their unique mix of all kinds of traits.
Where'd Wiley go? Where's Wiley? Ah, there she is. Paw,
Do you remember being an ancient wolf? Do you ever feel the call of the wild?
you're a renegade cop, and I'm a con woman with nothing to prove. But together, we could really solve this murder.
They're a little bit of a lot of things, but all of them are pure love.
So there you are, shuffling through a stack of resumes, and you come to mine. This is it. First impression. My way in. But can my resume show you how I truly stand out? Like that I was studying, going to night school while working 2 jobs just to help my parents pay for groceries. Or being the first one to always step up. No, that's something you just can't put on paper. Look beyond the resume and discover new ways to develop great talent that is dedicated, hardworking, and determined like me.
Today I'm going to talk to you about physics. Come on in, girls. Let's go. This is the first rocket to get humans to Mars.
Really tall.
I'm a rocket structural engineer, designing and building parts of the rocket. You are the generation that will be stepping foot on Mars. Do I have a group of astronauts on my hands?
Yes.
You can become a rocket scientist or whatever else you want to be.
Hey, we're back with City Manager Scott Brunka. now we're going to talk about the future. The big news currently was the approval of the concept plan for new development along State Route 63 that's going to be called Parkside. What kind of development's going to be up there, Scott?
So this is about 275 acres,
Yeah.
large development. It's mixed use.
So as you go up 63 out of town, it's on
the right, kind of
Gotcha.
Cardinal Landscaping, buildings on the left, and it's
Okay.
it's actually two separate farms that are kind of up on the hill on the
Yeah.
right. It's a mixed use development. One of the things that we really work closely with the developer on is making sure there was a wide range of housing products. So there's going to be some apartments there. There's a senior living, assisted living facility that will be there. There's townhomes. There's more kind of smaller, active adult type homes all the way up to the estate lots. Wow. So it's a good mix of housing options, and then there will be some office and some small kind of neighborhood retail that's associated with the project as well. So it's, and I think the key, the central component to the development is a 57-acre public park. So that was part of what the city had kind of pushed from the beginning, is as they were looking at development scenarios, how can we preserve green space within the property, and especially within the Mulford Run Creek that runs through it. And we were able to do that through the purchase of 57 acres with support from a state grant that the city got.
So there's a creek and a park that's going to run right through it?
Correct, and it'll be a public park,
Yeah.
and ultimately there'll be a trail that goes through there as well. The long-term goal would be to have a trail that connects downtown Lebanon all the way out to Armco Park and through the Union Village development, and this is one piece of that puzzle.
That's awesome. How many people will live in that area when it's all done?
I think if you look at full build out, the potential for around 2,500 new residents, is out there.
No, is this an extension of Otterbein, or is this a
No,
separate
it's
community
completely
all
separate.
by itself?
Yeah, it is 100% separate.
Okay.
There's one farm between Parkside and Union Village and Otterbein.
Is there going to be the opportunity to purchase land and build something there if you meet the requirements?
Yeah,
Or- okay.
yeah, absolutely. But it's its own entity and different development team.
How long is it going to take for that to be wrapped up and finished?
I'm estimating 10 to 15 years.
Okay.
I mean, it's certainly a long-term process.
And where are we at now? Just the beginning stages,
Correct.
the planning stages?
Yeah, the property's been annexed,
Okay.
and then it just went through the rezoning process to the mixed-use PUD. The developer right now is working on the engineering plans,
Okay.
so the road plans, the utility plans. That's kind of where they're at, is trying to move forward with that next phase of the project.
Not to put you on the spot, but breaking ground next year?
I mean, they hope. Well, they hope to break ground this year. Again, there's still work to be done on their end to get to that point. But I think ideally they'd like to be, in active construction this year.
Hey, speaking of 63, and that, in my mind, that's the most dangerous road that we see, because it's 2 lanes. You got kids on cell phones. I mean, veering back and forth. Please tell me they're expanding the road.
Yes.
And when is that going to take place?
So, absolutely. One of our requirements with any development is that they do a traffic impact study. Clearly, the traffic impact study came back with the recommendation to widen State Route 63 to 3 lanes.
Okay, that's a start.
So that's a start.
Yeah.
So part of the approval process for the city
Yeah.
has been that State Route 63 will be widened to 3 lanes, and they have begun the engineering on that. So that widening, that would be part of kind of the early phase of construction for the development.
Okay, since we're talking about widening a road, any other road projects for 2022?
This year, we're spending about $4 million on kind of just resurfacing and our concrete program. We are going to be reconstructing North Mechanic Street, so that's another project that we have in the mix. And we've begun design this year for the widening of Glosser Road between 63 and 42.
Okay.
That won't happen this year. That'll be a next year project. But that's, we're getting ready to take that step forward to actually widen Glosser Road between the 2 state routes.
Yeah, that's awesome. Now, the old Silver Street Firehouse is going to have a new life as a brew pub. How is this project progressing, and when do you anticipate that opening?
Yeah. So it's progressing. We were able to work out an agreement with the Lebanon Brewing Company. They own the building at 535 North Broadway, which is just north of the 511 North Broadway development. And obviously, we were looking for opportunities to transition our old fire station into the private sector. And we sat down with Mr. Ridgely, the Lebanon Brewing owner, and said, what do you think about kind of working out a deal where we get your building and they can get the old fire station for their brewery. And both sides were very excited to make that happen. He's got, he's in renovation now. If you take a peek in the windows there, you'll see active construction inside the building. I know originally they were hoping to kind of be open that April, May. Last conversation I had with him, it's looking like June. But they're still on track to open this summer, and it's going to have a nice patio out there. It should be a really good addition to our downtown.
And with all the festivals that we have, that's fantastic.
Yeah, we're excited to, and that's another example of, somebody local who's, reinvesting in our community, and we're so excited to support them.
That is cool. Is there more development coming in that part of North Broadway?
So we own the 535 North Broadway building, and then we have a purchase contract for the old car wash that's up there. The city's intent is to redevelop both of those properties, build something new. So right now we're kind of looking at development partners and kind of different projects or proposals for that. Nothing concrete, but it's certainly our intent to continue that investment up North Broadway.
Nice. Now, there's been some discussion around a new initiative in the city called Safe Routes to School.
Correct.
Can you tell us about that?
Yeah, so the city led an effort with the Lebanon School District, St. Francis de Sales, to kind of look at our bicycling and pedestrian connectivity in Lebanon and make recommendations for improvements. And so we've completed the study. One of the recommendations is to take the North Broadway bike lane, which is currently on road, and move that to a separate bike trail that would run along North Broadway Avenue all the way up to Miller Road. So we have now applied for a Safe Routes to School grant through ODOT to hopefully help financially support the construction of a standalone bike trail along North Broadway, which would then allow us to eliminate the bike lane. The bike lane was always kind of an intermediate step. Obviously, for us, anytime we do a bike trail project, there's a grant associated with that. So, the bike lane was part of the grant we got a couple years ago to start extending the bike path network north. But this would be that next step to get it off the road.
Connecting the other subdivisions up
Yeah,
there.
there's a lot of, all the subdivisions on Miller Road, all the subdivisions that are kind of off of Broadway.
So is that prompted by feedback that you get from the residents?
Yeah, absolutely. We did a Parks Master Plan a couple years ago. Part of that was a community survey, and I think it was number 2. The number 2 requested amenity is trails from our community. So it's something that a lot of folks want. I can tell you the North Broadway developer, the 511 North Broadway developer, one of his criteria was a connection to a trail system for his residents. So it's something that the development community values and that they want to see communities that are willing to make that investment.
And how can the residents get more involved as far as getting their input to you and the people who are making decisions?
Yeah, so obviously all my contact information is on the website. City council meetings are open to the public. There's a comment period. You can email any of our staff, parks, planning, community development at any time. But we have a volunteer park board. We have obviously a planning commission, a city council, and those are all entities that value and solicit public feedback.
I almost feel greedy with this one because you're doing so much. But what about our parks? Is there anything new with the parks?
Parks. So we talked about the Miller Park restrooms. We talked about some of the bike trail projects. I think the other big project is we are going to completely replace the Harmon Park playground equipment. But with that, we're going to be installing a new turf surface. So we're going to do away with kind of the mulch and the mud that's down there. And put in a new turf surface with a new playground. That's our most heavily used playground. The Harmon Civic Trust is helping the city fund it, so we've got some good partners at the table for that as well.
No is not in your vocabulary.
Right.
I mean, with the rising inflation, it would be so easy for you to sit back and say, are you crazy?
Right.
We don't have any money for that.
Right.
Has that affected us at all?
The city council and our city, they have fiscal policies, and part of that is making sure that we're maintaining adequate cash reserves for, kind of rainy day, emergency type situations. So, we've built the cash reserves of the city over the years to a healthy level. And part of those reserves are in place, not only in our general fund, but in all of our utility funds. Those reserves are in place to be able to, move forward with necessary projects when we need to, and kind of ride out the peaks and valleys. I will say, like I said, with the downtown restroom, I mean, when those bids came in, we had to retool that a bit. So we are making adjustments and realize
it's
that
amazing how expensive a toilet can be.
Realize that there may be some areas where we need to make some changes to kind of get things more aligned financially. But at this point, fortunately, we've been able to move forward with the projects that we have planned. And kind of see where this goes. We're not expecting things to change dramatically this year. I think kind of the costs and some of the supply chain issues that we're experiencing are going to continue this year. But some of the projects that we have are either attached to a grant that you have to use, or B, they really are critical infrastructure that just needs to get replaced.
Is there any specific issue or need that you see our city facing that needs to be addressed this year?
I think, we completed the update of our comprehensive plan last year, and that was a great process, a lot of public input. And I think what I took away from that very clearly is, as the city grows and as the city changes, make sure that we as a community are kind of protecting what makes Lebanon unique, our downtown. Just that sense of community, strong neighborhoods. So one of the recommendations is reinforcing our neighborhoods, and I think that is a challenge as you grow. Things are going to change, but you want to kind of make sure you're protecting your identity and what people love about your community.
So do people come up to you often when you're out in public and just chat with you?
Oh yeah, I get all kinds of recommendations.
Like you're not the kind of guy who's gonna be like running away. And,
it's kind of part of the job, and
that's awesome.
I appreciate people's energy about this town. I mean, there's a lot of amazing residents and businesses that just care a lot about Lebanon, and so I appreciate it, and we try to do as much as we can.
Well, I know you mentioned this early, but if people do want to get in touch with you, how do they do that again?
They can email me, sbrunka@lebanonohio.gov. You can call my office. The contact information's on our website. And we welcome feedback, and very easy to get a hold of us, so where we're located.
Man, thank you so much for making time to talk to our viewers about what's going on. Is there anything else that we missed?
No, I think just, make sure there's a lot of stuff happening, a lot of information that we're pushing out as a city. So, get on our website, social media. We're active on Facebook, Instagram. Just, stay informed. And, it's difficult when there's not regular media coverage of Lebanon and what's happening. So we're really, we are very transparent. We get the information out and just ask folks to follow us.
Now, you've been doing this job for about 4 years and doing it real well. We're not going to lose you to Atlanta or New York City.
I like Lebanon.
Because we want you here.
Right,
okay, you're doing a great job. We appreciate you.
Thank you.
And thank you again. Stay tuned. We'll be back to wrap up the show right after this break.
You made this vacation happen, cleverly merging promotions,
double points with every purchase,
and cross-referencing travel sites. Aloha! If you can ace your vacation, you can do it for retirement. Get on track with tips at aceyourretirement.org.
Observe a domesticated human family in their natural habitat, known to their species as the backyard.
Hey, you think I should light it now?
I think it's good.
Yeah?
Oh dear, someone is about to burn a pile of debris that's too tall, which can start a wildfire. Wait, could it be? Blimey, it is.
It's Smokey.
It's Smokey Bear. What a legend.
Hey, it's Smokey. Sorry, it was too high. Right.
Watch as he astutely ensures that there's no wind, and how he removes some of the debris to create a smaller, safer burning pile.
No, you said make it bigger, baby. The bigger, the better.
Take note of our fearless furry friend here, humans.
I appreciate it. Fist bump.
Watching you.
Smokey's done it again.
Bye, Smokey.
Only you can prevent wildfires.
It's a short ride from your neighborhood to your naturehood. To find a neighborhood park or green space near you, visit discovertheforest.org.
Well, that's all we have for today's show. For those of you who are watching us on YouTube, thanks for clicking on our show. Be sure to remember the like, share, and subscribe buttons so you know when something new is posted to the Lebanon channel. Thanks for watching. We'll be back April 6th with an all-new program. Enjoy your spring.